Hi everyone, welcome back to another interesting video, and in today's video we are going to be learning how to make this short mini dress that has side gathers. This is a highly requested video, this is the pattern drafting video. In my next video, I'm going to show you guys how to do the cutting and stitching together. If you're coming across this channel for the very first time and you haven't subscribed, please do well to subscribe, and also please turn on your notification bell so you get notified whenever I upload a new video. In my next video, I'm going to show you guys how to do the stitching, so please turn on your notification so that when this video drops, you'll be first to get notified. With that being said, let's just get right into today's video. So guys, I have my pattern paper here, as you can see, and I also have my drawing materials right here on the table. So right now, the next thing I'm going to do is to just keep everything aside and then work on just my tape for now. So I'll just keep all of this aside, and the full length I'm working with is 36 inches, and what I have on this pattern paper here is 36 inches. So that means when I'm cutting this directly on fabric, I'm going to make sure to add 1 inch for the folding allowance, making it 37 inches. All right, so you just go ahead and use the any length of your choice. All right, now I'm going to place my tape this way, and from that point I'll come down to my bust point 10.5. I'll come down to my under bust, which is 14 inches, and then I'll come down to my waist. I'm making use of 16.5 as the waist. And the next thing I'm going to do right now is to get my hip. Now, if you don't know how to get your hip, just come down by 7 or 8 inches from your waistline to get your hip line. I hope you understand. So I'll mark 8 inches downward. Now that I'm done with this, the next thing I'm going to do now is to connect all these points to give me a straight line. After connecting my lines, I'm just going to come up from this point, all right, to get my chest line, or you can go up from the bust point by 2 inches. Now to get your chest line, go ahead and divide your round bust by 6 and add 1.5 to it. Whatever you get is your chest line. So this is my chest line, my bust line, my under bust, my waistline. This is my hip line, and of course the hem line, like the full length of the dress. All right, after connecting this, the next thing I'm going to do right now is to get the neckline. Although we are not going to be making use of this neckline, but so that you understand what we are doing here, I went in by 3 inches and I'll come down by 3 inches as well. And then I'm going to use my curved ruler to connect the neckline. This neckline is not really important, but for the sake of this tutorial, I will just connect it. After connecting the chest line, the next thing I will do right now is to get my shoulder, half of my shoulder measurement. So my shoulder is 15, half of it is 7.5. After that, from that point, I'll come down by 1 inch for the shoulder slope, and then I'm going to connect it back to the neck width. You guys, you should be used to this by now because I do this a lot here on my channel. Once you're done connecting this, from that point now, you're going to come down, connect a straight line. So for me to get a straight line, I'm going to come in again on the chest line by half of my shoulder, 7.5. I marked it here, and then I'll connect from this point to the shoulder slope this way. So right now I want to get my armhole, and to do that I'll place my tape this way and divide what I have here by 2. So just fold your tape this way and make a point. From that point you go in by ½ inch, and on the chest line you're going to mark your round bust divided by 4. So once you're done with that, go ahead and connect your armhole. Next, you are going to come to the bust line here, and you come in by half of your nipple to nipple measurement. My nipple to nipple measurement, which is also known as the bust span, is 8 inches, and that divided by 2 is 4 inches. So I marked it on the bust line, the waistline, on the hip line. So I'm just going to connect a straight line across this way, and I'll connect this line down to the end of my pattern this way. Remember, I'm working with 36 inches as my full length, so connect it downward just like so. Once you're done connecting this, the next thing you do right now is you come to your under bust. You go out on both sides by 1 inch. Please pay attention to this part. Go out by both sides by 1 inch, and you're going to repeat same thing on the waistline. Then you are going to connect it this way and also connect this point as well. Once you're done connecting, on the bust point, come down by 1 inch. All right, so come down by 1 inch here. Now you're going to use your curved ruler now to connect those points to meet that 1 inch point you came down by. So this is what I'm trying to say. From here, I'm going to now connect it to meet that point this way, and then I will do same thing to this other side as well. I will connect it from here downward just like so. Now guys, another thing I want to do right now is from the chest line, I want to go up by at least 1.5 inches. This is because I want the cleavage area covered. So if you want yours to be opened, you can decide to maintain the chest line, but as for me, I want mine to be covered, so I'm going to come up from the chest line here by 1.5 inches. So after marking that point, I'm just going to use my ruler now to connect a straight line across. So this is now my new chest line. So I'm also going to connect this point to meet the chest line just like so. Once you're done with that, you're going to go out on both sides by 1/2 inch, and then you're going to now connect those points back to the bust point just like this. All right, so you repeat same thing on this other side, and after that try to blend this part to meet this other part like this. Now that we are done with that, the next thing I'm going to do right now is I'm going to measure this dart and replace it here. So you need to replace it here so that by the time you are done, it's not going to be too small, like smaller on that part. All right, make sure to replace it there, and now you are going to use your curved ruler now to create your new armhole. So this one here is my new armhole, and this one is no longer needed. All right, and this other part as well will be cut off. So the next thing I'm going to do right now is on the hip line, I'm going to come up by 3 inches here, come up by 3 inches here, and then you're going to connect from your waistline down to meet this point just like this, and you're also going to repeat same thing on this other part. So guys, this part here will be cut off, and I really hope you guys understand everything I'm saying here. Once you're done with that, the next thing is to now add all your body measurements. So I'm going to come to the chest line here, and I'm going to add my stitching allowance of 1.5 inches. Remember, on the chest line I have already marked my round bust and I replaced the dart, so I added 1 inch for ease and 1.5 for stitching allowance. So I'm going to come to the bust line and also repeat what I have on the chest line on the bust line. So on the waistline, I'm going to mark my round waist divided by 4. I'll measure the dart and replace it, and then also add my stitching allowance. I'll do same thing to the hip line, my round hip divided by 4, and also add my stitching allowance of 1.5 inches. Then I'm going to go ahead and connect all these last points to give, like, connect all those last points from the chest line down to the hip, and from the hip line I'm going to now connect it down to the full length of my dress. All right, once I'm done connecting all those points, I'm just going to come to the armhole here and make it visible this way. Now the next thing I'll do is I'm going to come to this area where I have my darts, this point where my darts stop. From the center of my pattern paper, I'll come in by 3 inches. I'm going to mark 3 inches downward and then use my ruler to connect this point, like you're going to connect from that point down to the full length of your dress or your pattern paper. All right, connect it downward just like so. Once you're done connecting that, you're going to now come to the waistline here. You come down by 1.5 inches. You can do 1.5 or you can do 2 inches. So I came down by 1.5 inches. So I'm just going to connect this point to where my dart stops, and then I'll try to use my marker to connect some dotted line, like for me to be able to get a nice shape. So once I've gotten that, I'm just going to blend everything just like this. All right, so I'll just blend everything just like this. So right now, once you're done with that, the next thing you're going to do right now is you're going to now create some channel here where you're going to be having like a slash and spread method. All right, so we are going to be having like a slash and spread method here. By the time you guys are going to understand this better on the sewing video. All right, so what I'm going to do right now is to connect all those points I marked. All right, I'm going to connect all those points that I marked this way. So please pay attention and watch what I'm doing right here. The distance I use for each line is 1.5 inches. You can also use 2 inches. After connecting all those points, I went ahead to number them from 1 to 7. So those parts that I marked we are going to use it for like a slash and spread method. Once you're done with that, just go ahead and cut out every other thing. After cutting this out, the next thing we are going to do right now is to work on the back pattern. For the back pattern, I have gone ahead to draft out all those points: my chest line, bust line, waistline, hip line, and the full length of my dress. Now the only difference between this and the front is that the back doesn't have like under bust. All right, when you are drafting at the back, you don't add your under bust. And secondly, you're also going to add your zipper allowance. This is something I forgot to do. So you're going to add your zipper allowance, because this is going to be having a zipper at the back. So when I'm cutting this on my fabric, I'm going to take note of this. So from the center of my paper, I went in again by half of my nipple to nipple measurement, just the same way we did for the front pattern. So we are going to connect this downward, like to the full length of my pattern or the full length of my dress. So after connecting it this way, the next thing I'm going to do right now is I'm going to now go out on both sides by half of an inch. Now this is for that. So you go out by half of an inch on both sides, and on the hip line again, you come up by 3 inches, just the same way we did for the front pattern. So you're going to connect this now to meet this point just like so, and also connect this part like this. Once you're done connecting this, you're now going to connect this upward to the chest line. So connect it to meet the chest line just like this. Now that you're done connecting this, remember on the front pattern I went up by 1.5 inches. So I'm going to do same thing for the back. So you come up by 1.5 inches. So you're now going to take your armhole. To do that, divide what you have here by 2. And on the chest line, you're going to mark your round bust divided by 4. So right now, I'm going to use my curved ruler here to get my back armhole, and this is it here. So I'm also going to connect that point I went up by. All right, so I'll connect it into a straight line. All right, connect it from the chest to meet that point, and then connect it into a straight line. So remember, this is my new chest line. All right, so once you're done with this, the next thing you're going to do right now is on the chest line, your round bust divided by 4 is here. You're going to add your stitching allowance of 1.5. Repeat same thing on the bust line, and on the waistline you're going to mark your round waist divided by 4. Replace the dart intake you have there, and also add your stitching allowance. On the hip line, your round hip divided by 4, and since we don't have a dart there, I will just add my stitching allowance. So from the chest, I'm going to connect it downwards to the waistline, and then connect it to the hip, and from the hip I will take this to the full length I'm working with. So right now I'm going to come to this armhole area here, and I will go in by 1 inch. Remember, on the front pattern we went out by 1 inch, so on the back pattern I went in by 1 inch. So I'm going to now connect a new armhole, and this is because I don't want it to be too bulging on the armhole area by the time I am done stitching this. So those areas will be cut off just like so. So you come to the waistline here, you come down by 1.5 inches, and I'm going to bring my front pattern this way and place it directly on that part that I marked. Remember, on the front pattern I came down by 1.5 inches on the waistline, so I repeated same thing on the back pattern. So you are going to take note of the 3 inches point, so come in again by 3 inches point. That is where your pattern is supposed to be, all right, even though it goes outside the line, but just make sure you are taking note of that 3 inches point. Remember, on the front pattern we came in by 3 inches and connected from the waist down to that point. So I'm just using my marker to trace it out this way, and then I'll remove the front pattern and connect this now into a straight line. So from here, connect it downward like this, and then you're going to now use your marker to trace out this other part. I really hope you guys understand what we are doing here, but just let me know what you think about it in the comment section. If you have any question, please drop your questions for me. So this, just like we did for the front pattern, I'm going to make another lines this way. So this is going to be for the slash and spread method. So once you're done, go ahead and then trace out every other thing. After cutting, just so you don't mix this up, this is the back pattern, and I'll bring the front and also mark here the front. So just go ahead and mark or give them their different names. I hope you understand, so that you don't mix them up. You can be able to identify the center front from the center back, so that it's not a problem. But for the slash and spread method, please make sure you differentiate the back from the front. All right, so this is the back pattern and this here is the front. So guys, thanks for watching this video. In my next video, I'll show you guys how to cut this on fabric and how to stitch it and have a better look. If you haven't subscribed, please do well to hit on the subscribe button, and don't forget to share this video. Let me also know what you think about this in the comment section. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye.